Thank you so much, Kalani Das of World Drum Club. Hi everyone, We Play Well Together, your exclusive North American distributor for feeltone monochords, wooden tongue drums, as well as Hokema Kalimbas and metal sounds, makers of the space drum handpan, which Kalani just played, and the Zenko tongue drum, which he also played. Welcome back, Kalani.
Thanks, Joule. It's nice to be back. And welcome everybody who's live. And if you're watching later, welcome.
Nice welcome. It's been a moment since we've done this. It's been a summer of adventures, and yeah, what have you been up to, Kalani? What's new in the World Drum Club world?
Well, I have been traveling a bit. I also just got done doing a retreat here in Southern California that I really love, where I use the handpan and the tank drums and the steel tongue drums and the tinkatongs. That is called Flute Harvest, and that's more Native American flute people. But they love when I bring all this stuff, and they get to play with the new toys and sounds, and just to keep it within the We Play Well Together, mindset. It's just a great example of how people that are playing one instrument or category can easily access a whole nother set of stuff. So that was really fun, and we had a great time this year. So I'm really excited about that. And what else has been going on? I'm just obviously people probably know me from World Drum Club, so that's ongoing, and I just put up content, and yeah. Just been doing that mostly. By the way, if people are interested, I'm just remembering this now, and this is actually on my other channel, Kalani Music, but I did a whole series of videos over the summer in preparation for this fall event called Music Theory 101. And so I realized that a lot of the people who are doing handpans and steel tongue drums, you may not, when people start talking about modes and scales and keys and this and that and sharps and flats, it just,
some people's eyes start to cross and go, yeah.
Exactly. So I made a series of videos just for you. If that's you and you start hearing, music and it sounds like jargon and it's confusing, I made a series just for you guys that just addresses like one thing at a time. Like, what are the note names? What's a key? What's a scale? Anyway, I just thought of that. I think
awesome. I'm so glad we should put that on our website, actually, because a lot of our customers will reach out and ask, where do I start? I'm overwhelmed. I want to know some basic music knowledge. and what's a good resource. So here is a good resource. Super excited about that, Kalani.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for anyone coming from the We Play Well Together side, Kalani Das is a longtime friend of We Play Well Together. He plays all of our instruments along with so many other instruments. So if you haven't yet, please check out World Drum Club on YouTube. And Kalani also has a Patreon and just so many resources. So we're so excited to be doing this live series again once a month. Took a long break for the summer because I was traveling. I got to go to Germany to be with the actual feeltone people, the makers of the monochords and the tongue drums. And we have a brand new, well, it's a new version of an old friend, which is the Tinkatong, which Kalani has right there. But we have these now in the color scheme and the elements. So these actually match the Koshi chimes. Do you happen to have a Koshi chime there, Kalani, that you could hold up?
I do. Yep. I have one right.
Does it happen to be the blue one, I wonder?
It is. It's the D minor.
Oh, can you hold it up so we can see the little blue dot in the Koshi? I don't know if you can see it.
Let me see.
It's a little far away.
I don't know where it is.
Oh, it's tiny actually.
Maybe it came
No, it's there. I can see it. There's a little Koshi sign.
Oh, you can see.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know if I can show this up to the camera.
Oh, it's the O of the Koshi, right?
Oh, there we go. Yeah, so we've got the O of the Tong, Tinkatong by Feeltone, and we have the O of the Koshi. Oh, look at those good friends, right? So if you're a fan of the Koshi and you would like a matching instrument, these perfectly match the instruments and have even the color coding. And
that's nice.
The Koshi chimes are in 432 hertz, which these currently match. And so Koshis, we can kind of get away with playing them with 440 instruments because they're kind of twinkly and they kind of blend together. But in the Kalani world, we usually work with the 440 hertz because that's standard concert pitch. It's what most musicians play to. If you want to jam with other instruments, other musicians, and handpan players usually are tuned to 442. So if you go to a handpan festival and jam, which I highly recommend, by the way, got to do some more of that this summer where you're in a group of people around a fire, everybody's playing the D minor handpan, and it just sounds like rain. It's really a special experience, and there are now handpan gatherings all over the world. People who are big fans of that instrument. But if you want things that actually match the Koshis, and many folks in our sound healing world have instruments that are 432 hertz, and we here at We Play Well Together believe you should match your instruments to what you already have. So we don't believe that one tuning is superior or more healing. All sounds can be healing or harmful, depending on how they're played. There's so much that goes into creating an effect for the body, for the nervous system, for our emotions, based on how we're playing, how we're sequencing sound. It's a very complex thing and isn't just as simple as one tuning or one frequency. However, you really want to have instruments that tune well together. And so now, if you're a big fan of the Koshi chimes, you can have the matching tongue drum. And we also are going to be having these in 440 as well. And Kalani has some 440 versions in his studio. But this is the big drum roll of brand new, exciting, new for the fall. And we also are focusing on our water grouping, which Kalani and I have been kind of soft launch talking about the past year, actually. So it's not news to any of you. But for our wider audience, we've got some beautiful videos that we're going to share that highlight these instruments. And you know what, Kalani, maybe we could just go ahead and play one of them, and you and I can kind of chat over it if you want. And that way I'll give people a good overview. And then in a bit, I'm going to show a little bit of a video of my travels to Germany and being actually with the Feeltone founders making music together on these instruments. So, but first, let us play this video. And I hope the interview mode works on this. Let's see if it does.
It's always an adventure.
It's always an adventure. Oh, wait. That's the wrong one. Shoot. And that was a little laugh preview, right? Let's see. Is this one? Oh. Oh, and it's still not doing the interview. Okay, wait. I might need to fix this real quick because I want us to be able to see each other over the video. And let's see.
And what's good about having these instruments is we can just stall.
We can just stall and we can play in the background
with this background sound.
Let's see if I can just add you to this one. Let's see. And you're in the and I'm playing the wrong one. Okay, this is the one I want to play, but I want to add you. Can I add you? Oh, there you are. Great.
Okay, here we go.
And I've got the wrong green screen, so let me just make the background for you again. Here we go. So I made this video, and this it's meant to be kind of a slideshow, a moving slideshow, but in my studio I played all of the instruments in the background. So it's meant to be kind of a meditative thing where there's mostly no hands in the video. There are a couple times you see my hands in there playing something, but mostly I wanted people to be able to imagine their hands on these instruments. So you can kind of project yourself into the movie and listen to all the sounds that they're going to use. So here's that Koshi chime that Kalani was playing just a minute ago.
Nice.
Chimes in the water element.
And there are the 4 different elements. I'm sure you'll mention that later.
There are, yeah.
4 sets.
This is one of 4 sets, and we're kind of piloting them 1 per season. But we do have most of the instruments available in all the sets. Now this is the Koshi chime's cousin, the Zaphir chime. And the Zaphir chime that Kalani and I discovered is kind of one note that's a little bit weird, and it creates a little bit of a dissonance, which is actually kind of fun. I played with that Kalani a bit more. We're just kind of making it a thing.
I was just looking for I was looking for my Zaphir chime.
Your Zaphir chime. We can talk about it.
It's around here somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh, it's right here. It's right above my head.
Yeah, we'll talk about that A flat after the video. The dissonance can have purpose. There we go. Oh, yours is purple though, but yeah, it's the same. Yeah, so then we have these different combos where you get to show the different things combined with 2 times. This is the little B5 kalimba, so it's a tiny little, with only 5 notes. And it isn't really an instrument that you would play musical chords with, but more like creating these little soundscape tracks. And this is its bigger friend, the B9. It has 9 tones, a little bit of a lower sound. We were actually out last summer shooting those videos by waterfalls and kind of wading waist to be able to get the shots. It was quite a lot of fun. And we now also have the sansula tuned to the different elemental tunings. So there's a D minor tuning for the sansula, which I actually developed, so I'm quite fond of it. And there's a little tuning tool where you can tune the sansulas differently. So if you already have a sansula, you can tune it to these different tunings. Gonna move
very nice.
Move our We Play Well Together logo. Always somehow gets in the way. This is the Zenko drum, which Kalani has in his studio. And we don't necessarily recommend putting them in water, but we did artistically for these videos, which is quite fun. We lovingly call this the baby turtle. So here the turtle goes for a swim.
There he goes. Don't try this at home.
Don't try this at home. It is stainless steel. It survived this photo shoot, but really recommend what you do with it.
Yeah.
And here's our new friend, the water tinkatong, or the tinkatong aqua by feeltone. Also, don't recommend playing it in the rain, but I did, and it was fun.
You're really getting into the water vibe.
Yeah, I just went for it.
Nice.
The Soundscape D minor water jam. Our picture's covering it up a little bit. This is the whole collection. And what it sounds like when all those sounds are layered on.
And I'm sure people know this who are fans of We Play Well Together, but I'll just say it again. You can play or have a group of people playing all these together, and you don't have to think about which notes to play. And, there's really no mistakes. It's just everything will sound harmonious.
Exactly. So there's a couple of desires we wanted to fulfill for folks in creating these sets. One was exactly what you said, that people could actually invest in a set to work together, and this could be in a clinical setting. So for music therapists, for we just had someone reach out who works with patients with dementia, and that sound can connect people to parts of their brains and their memories that are otherwise sometimes inaccessible, and that when we're not having to worry about playing melodies, it just frees us up to be able to express. But that's true for all people, from children to adults, in that when we're not in that kind of concentration of what note do I play next, it frees us up to play with the rhythm, so we can be more rhythmically oriented, and we can be more expressing of our emotions or our own inner rhythm, whether we play fast or slow, or bringing different kinds of instruments in and out, because we're not having to worry about like what's the melody, or what's the chord structure. That's already a given. So we found that trained musicians also are able to be really expressive in different ways when you minimize the choices. I think we've spoken of this before, but there's that paradox of creating, reducing our choices creates freedom sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one part of the desire, but the other desire was that many of our folks are sound practitioners. They offer sound meditation, they play sound for yoga, relaxation, sound baths, and they have an instrument collection that they add to over time. And we wanted to make it so that you could easily match the instruments you already have to the things in our collection. And so we've really done the work for people. So just like how Kalani made this series of videos explaining music theory, so you don't have to overthink. You can just learn the basics of what you need. In this case, you can learn what are the basic notes of the instrument collection I already have. If you don't know that, sometimes it's usually like the lowest note, because many chords orient towards the root. So if you have a crystal bowl collection, I often ask people, what is your lowest crystal bowl? Because if you're playing that low bowl, then your listening is going to adjust to the other bowls in your collection if they're a match set. Now, if you have a whole bunch of mismatched stuff, then that might be a little bit harder, but we can always like do a consult with you to help you figure. And it's really good to orient your collection towards one or two chords, because that way you can add using different instruments, different brands, and not only will you be able to play them at the same time, but you can also transition beautifully. So if you're a solo practitioner and you have a bunch of instruments, you might play one thing at a time, or like how Kalani does it, and he's going to do a little bit more, I hope, today, playing with the live looper, where you're playing and layering on yourself, but you're able to do these beautiful transitions when the instruments are already in tune with one another. And so that creates the arc of your experience, of your offering, much more skillful. Yeah. So what do you
Yeah,
think,
great.
Kalani? Do you like the enlarged collection?
It's great. I think that's super exciting. Yeah, and I'm excited for people who have, one or two pieces of that set who could now add, other elements with confidence and not have to worry about the fine tuning or the general tuning. I think that's really very cool. I know a lot of people, older adults, often like to collect these kind of instruments for themselves, but then when the kids or the grandkids come over, they can all make music as a family. I think that's super amazing and beautiful. Or vice versa for younger people who have an infirmed grandparent, for example, or a parent, and maybe they're bedridden, or they're just in a home. They're in a home, and you go visit them, and you bring all the instruments, and again, you can have a family music experience where people don't have to know about music theory or think about it or worry about it, and you can just play music together. And it may remind somebody of a song, that they love, which it often does. We're often reminded of other music that we enjoy when we play anything. Just like a conversation. When you have a conversation with somebody, we're often, reminded of our peak memories, as it were, and that's kind of pushes the conversation forward. And I think this is the same sort of thing happening with these instruments. So you can always go somewhere new, start even if you're starting in a very kind of well, I don't want to say simple, but like you mentioned, like fewer choices to start with, but then you can always branch off in other directions. There's no limit.
So I'd like to ask you to do a couple of things, Kalani. One is now, can you grab those chimes down again? I think they you hang them over
Which
your
one?
head, right? Both of them actually.
Koshi. Both
Yeah.
of them, sure.
Yeah. So the Koshi is more of like a kind of a pure D minor chord in the
So that's this.
432 hertz. And then the other chime is the Zaphir chime. That one is called the Sufi chime, and that one is purple from our Joule collection. But for the water collection, we actually chose a blue color because we figure it's easier to keep it all color coordinated, so people can easily choose which one. So we have the blue one, but it's the same notes. But that one has like a A sharp, right, or it's an A flat. There's one little note in there that's like a little bit different,
Little
right?
different, yeah.
A little different.
There's Koshi. Here's Zaphir. Yeah, slightly different. I mean,
Slightly
they do
different,
kind
and
of
it
go
makes it,
together,
it's
though.
a little bit more complex, a little interesting.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my friend Katie Down, who's a music therapist, and she was saying like how much she loves the use of conscious dissonance when she's
Uh
doing
huh.
sound meditation or sound bath. Sometimes you want to just shake things up a little bit and play a little bit of dissonance. So it's fun with those two chimes that you've got like this one and then this one, and then you can play them together. So that's what we were talking about in
Dissonance is,
the video.
I mean, it's like it's yin and yang, right? It's
Yeah.
black and white. It's light and dark. Dissonance, consonance. We need both. We need both.
Yeah, and in music theory, it is about creating this tension and release. So that's what
Yep.
composers do is they create tension by creating dissonance
Mm-hmm.
sounds or intervals that kind of stretch us a little bit, go, and then we can relax.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like those exercises where you're directed to squeeze your muscles really tight, squeeze, and then relax. And we can relax much deeper when we know what the opposite of that is. So music works in the same way.
Exactly. And I have just you had mentioned the live looping. I have a piece of music that's going to illustrate that really well.
Are we ready
Because
for
it's
it? Because
got the
I'm ready for it.
yeah. We could do it. Yeah. Should we get
Okay.
into it? And
Yeah,
I'll
let's
just
get into it. I think that's what's so special about showing how these instruments can be used in live looping. And we've talked about maybe even offering a class in the future because I want to learn how to do that. So if
sure.
folks are interested in that, please let us know. All right, I'm going to give you the stage, Kalani.
Okay, I'm going to shift over to this view and just show you real quick the loopers over here. This is not about looping right now, but I just want to show you it's over here, and I can go ahead and start. For example, I can play a loop. I already recorded these earlier, and there's different ones. Here's one with hand pan. All right, so what I'm going to do with, and then I'm going to pop up right here and show you how this is very easy, for example, to play along. And this is just one example. I can play these two notes or just this one note. And then when the chord changes, I can play a different note. So I can just play 2 notes. And this is something that anybody could do. And really, I could just kind of play all these. They all pretty much work. All right, all the time. But so I can play them all, and then I can also zero in if I want to be more precise and go with the chords. So what we're gonna hear is 3 chords. And this is an F, and then a C7 chord, which is the dominant 7. That creates a tension. And now D minor, which is our relative minor, and then back to C. So now we've got release harmony, right? We call this the 1, and we go to the 5. And this has a little bit of, it wants to go back, but where's it gonna go? It's gonna go to the relative minor, the 6 chord, which is also a release, and then back to the 5. So we have tension, and then maybe you guys can put your, make a movement here, and we're gonna go away somewhere else. And we've got a little bit of tension, and then we're gonna relax into the minor, and then we're gonna go back to tension a little bit, just a little. And I added some keyboard. So hopefully you're with me, you can hear that. And here's another little couple triangles just for fun. And I'm going to show you how I would approach this on the pan. I'm going to use mallets for this right now. Next time it comes around. Here's our minor chord. And here's our C7. To point out that I can play this by just looking, so I kind of feel like this is left, and then right, and then left. It works. And then right. Plus this. And now. Where am I going next? How fun is that?
So much fun. What did you play the bass with? I might have missed it. Maybe you said, and I missed it.
Oh, the bass sound?
Yeah, that was like a bass.
Oh, so the bass. So I have a little keyboard that I use for that. So I have a little electronic keyboard that I got. It's really cute. You can see that in some of my videos. Actually, you can see it in the Music Theory 101 videos. So yeah, I have a little keyboard that I pre-played the bass, because it's nice to have bass, you know,
Right.
like bass.
Yeah.
And then a keyboard, which is kind of like a DX7, old school FM, like Yamaha. You know, if none of those words mean anything to you, don't worry about it. But you could hear the keyboard, right? It's like a classic 80s FM, which is not FM radio, it's something else. Yeah, it's that kind of sound. And yeah, so I put that in, and I actually just use that for every couple of weeks I do a thing called the Zumo Flute Along, which is I put backing tracks up, and we do it live through Zoom, and I provide these backing tracks, and I just give a little bit of kind of music theory stuff, not much. It's just like, oh, here's this chord and here's that chord, which, by the way, I think would be great for handpan players too. So you guys are welcome if you want, and I'm going to do a shameless plug right now. If you join my Patreon site and you become a patron, which means you become a supporter, you can participate in those. And if you have a D minor, you know, in this case, D minor pan like this, and this is the Nitro Space Drum D minor tuning, then you could do what I just did, and you could play solos and play along and learn how to play, you know, the chords, which I think is super exciting, because it's great to just kind of play whatever, right? And it sounds good. But then the next step would be a step towards what we could call mastery, or just more, you know, more, what would you say? You can more determine more. I'm trying to form a sentence.
Skillful means.
You could better shape the music that you want to play. All right, you have a little more mastery over the music that you're producing, and this could be the next step, right? It's just learning one chord, another chord, and then one chord, you know, and left and right and left and right. And I do this with my music therapy clients, and it makes it super easy. And I'll mark or put some tape on the instrument, you know, and I'll say, this is the first chord and the second chord. And so, you know, the first we play here, and then we play here. And I'll make it really easy for them. But I think it just adds it kind of levels up your whole music scene if you can do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. In the monochord world, which is this instrument behind me, Martina Glaser-Burma, who created this beautiful monochord training that I now teach here in the United States, she talks about 3 different phases of learning how to play an intuitive instrument. Phase 1 is you take it out of the box, you play whatever, and you just follow your instincts, you follow your intuition. There's no wrong notes. But phase 2 would be to understand what you're doing as you're doing it and have the ability to recreate it. And then phase 3 is having a distinctive intention or a story or a feeling, something that you want to communicate, and being able to communicate that through the instrument. And that can be done in many different ways. With the monochord, you're very limited with the notes. So it's done with the different ways that you activate the strings, your speed, your pressure, where the harmonics are coming, if you're playing with rhythm or not with rhythm. And then when we have these fixed pitch instruments like the handpans or the tongue drums, whether they're the wooden drums or the metal drums, then you have distinctive notes. And that is also a different level when you know which notes that you're playing in different groupings. Ooh, I'm going to cough for a second.
I'll cover it. Good. That's good video switching. All right.
I know I'm muted on your one, so I was trying to switch to you. I was like, oh no, cough coming up. Yeah, we're live. We can't do it. On the Zoom, I always like hit the mute button and cough. But
right, I know.
Here I was like, where's the mute?
I know what it's like doing what you're doing. It's like you guys have no idea how much Joule's doing right now with all the buttons and the cameras and switching and audio, and it's like Wizard of Oz time, you know.
And I have all these perfectionist tendencies, and they always have to go out the window for live because there's always something that you can't plan when the cough's going to come, right?
No, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this stuff because it just keeps it real and it just
Totally.
reinforces also for everybody out there watching, it reinforces the idea that you know what? Nothing goes as you think it's going to go and it's okay. And you just move on, you do the best you can and things roll forward and it's all good, you know. Yeah.
Aw,
And if you want to play improvised music, that's the
exactly.
space you need to get in.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know
And
about you, Kalani, when you're improvising, but when I'm improvising, sometimes I do things that are not planned, or something just comes out
Mhm.
that's not planned. And a little trick, improviser trick, is sometimes when you do something that's not planned, it might sound a little weird or off, then you repeat it 2 or 3 times, and then it
Mhm.
sounds like it's part of the composition. So with voice, sometimes like my voice will crack and I'll go, oh, and then I'll go, okay, well that's a thing, and I'll do it again. Oh,
Right.
oh, oh. And yeah, so little tip for
Yeah.
improvisers, but it's also just a way of embracing our imperfections. When we go, oh wow, my voice cracked, let me make that a sound, because I'm making up the song as I go, so that can be a part of the song. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it again, it just keeps it real. You know, I've got over well, close to 1,000 videos on my YouTube channel, right? World Drum Club. And
Yeah.
now I've gone from I used to do shoot, edit, right? I used to do shoot and edit, and now I don't. I have 3 cameras. I shoot straight through and I leave in the little mistakes because you know what? That's not important. It's not about that, you know, editing out all the little mistakes, and if you have to start a sentence over or correct something you said in the moment, fine. It's fine, right? And it allows me to be way more productive because I can just shoot a video and it's ready to upload and I post it. And it also has just, I know this is a little bit tangential, but I think it's a good lesson for the improvisers out there.
Mm.
The more I do that, the more I shoot videos straight through. And sometimes I'm shooting like 17, 18, 20-minute long videos straight, right? No edits. What that helps me do is it helps me think ahead a little. It helps me smooth out my presentations. It helps me speak to what I know and not try to make a video about something that I don't know about. So it keeps me kind of honest. And I'd say
Mm.
the same with music. When you're playing music, you know, play the music that you can play comfortably and just be yourself and let it happen. And that's the record of where you were at that time, and that's your offering in that moment. And so I like that because it gets me out of the perfectionist mindset, which it just can be a groove killer,
Mm.
perfectionism
Well,
and
and
over
just
planning.
sharing stuff and getting it out there, you couldn't be as productive if every video had to be that perfect. So that's great, great
Right.
advice for all of us.
And it saves me a ton of time
Yeah.
editing. It saves me so much time.
And
So,
Roseanne just said, "I love that you don't edit. Much more fun and approachable." So there we go. I'm glad
yeah,
my
exactly.
cough brought up all of that. So perfectly imperfect.
Yeah,
Oh,
that is
so
really it's a good lesson.
now I would love to play this video that I previewed like twice. We've gotten there's a laugh at the beginning because I've done it uh, by accident twice. So there's a laugh at the beginning. But what this video is, now we'll watch the whole thing, and I'll add you as a commenter on this. I traveled this summer to Germany, and I lived in Berlin from 2001 to 2005. I was singing experimental opera there and doing all kinds of wild musical things. And I left in 2005, and I had planned to come back to visit, but life happened and many things happened, including a pandemic and other reasons why I couldn't travel. So it had actually been 18 years since I had been in Germany, which was just wild. And so many emotions were with me as I was there this summer, and I attempted to speak German the entire month I was there, which was very tricky in the beginning, but it came back. And so we shot a series of videos with the feeltone family. Feeltone family being Ingo Böhme, who is the founder of feeltone. He founded this company 40 years ago, and feeltone is a maker of these wooden drums, the tongue drums, and the monochords, which have become so popular here in the United States. And yeah, 40 years ago, he founded this company, and then he remarried, and his wife, Martina Gläser-Böhme, created the monochord training because she's a body worker. So she brought massage and her knowledge of working with the body and energy to feeltone. And then there are some other members of the family, Daniel, who's the marketing director, and Katerina, who just came on as a marketing specialist and user experience. She wears many hats. So it was like the creators behind the company I was there with. And then I was asked to musical direct these videos and then play in the video. And it was quite a challenge because I was speaking German and having to be in a place of authority with native German speakers and talk about imperfection. Like, you have to just know I sound kind of silly saying all the wrong verbs in the wrong order, and I sound kind of cute the way I talk with my American accent, but I still have to say, hey, this is what we're going to make with this video, and this is how this is going to be. So it was a big challenge for me, a lot of fun. We spent hours in the woods. It rained off and on, so we always had to like cover the instruments, cover the equipment, and then shoot again. So this video is a culmination of that, and I also edited this version. This is not the final version. I believe the final version is out on feeltone YouTube, with feeltone instruments. But this version is without the title, so it's easier to share it in this, and I'm quite proud of my edit too. So we're going to watch this now, and it will begin with laughter. So here we go. And this was also a young dancer. She's actually the cameraman, and the cameraman is also their son-in-law. So everybody's kind of part of the family. Nice. Sitting by this lake, which is also near the feeltone workshop. Are bathed. Really wanted to capture this feeling of a group of people playing together and what that could look like, but also introducing the instruments one at a time. So that's the Zenko tongue drum, the monochord, the little monolini, which Kalani has in his studio.
I love having the monolini in here because it resonates with anything I'm doing. So it's always speaking to me.
There I am playing the Damsula, attempting to play it in a watery fashion. They're creating this wah-wah effect when you open and close the bottom.
Yeah, I love that effect. It's very powerful. And that's the new D minor?
That's a new D minor. Yeah, water.
Zingo, right?
Pinkatong Aqua, also made by feeltone. Here he is playing both of them together. And again, that man there is Ingo Burma. He is the founder of feeltone. So this all imagination. With our Koshi time. We're going to build it up to a little bit of crescendo here, the big wave of water. So all of these instrument groupings really made to center around the feeltone monochord because that is really our shining instrument here at We Play Well Together. Gabrielle of We Play Well Together. Gabrielle is the exclusive distributor, so I work for her. I'm Joule and I live in New York. I don't know if I even introduced myself at the beginning, but hi, for anyone who doesn't know me. And Gabrielle's based in the Bay Area of San Francisco on the West Coast. So Gabrielle really introduced this instrument to the American market, and she has a knack for finding the greatest people, Kalani included, and getting them into all these different communities, the music therapy, sound therapy, the sound bathers, the composers, the experimental musicians. And so this instrument is very beloved and very special, and it's really our queen bee. And we also are friends with all of these other amazing instrument makers. So Metal Sounds is made in the south of France, and Hokema Kalimbas also in Germany. And all of these builders actually know one another, and they've had these long-term friendships, business partnerships. And so bringing these all together in this format has really been a long-term desire and goal, and it's really formally happening now this fall with the launch of these water groupings. And we have most of the instruments already, but we're really highlighting the water this fall, and then in the winter spring it's going to be earth, and then summer air, and then next fall autumn. So I've just been out in the autumn leaves taking more autumn photos and videos for next year so that we have that in advance. So yeah, reach out to us if you're interested, and if you're curious about the instruments that we play well together. We're always happy to talk to you on the phone or even in a Zoom chat and help you find the perfect companion instruments. I also offer the monochord training here in New York. We have a short version online, a long version in New York, and then I'm planning, Kalani, you may not know this, to be out in Los Angeles in January. So we're hoping to offer this in January as well. So there may be some folks who might want to come play monochord with us. And of course, please go to World Drum Club. Please follow Kalani. Consider becoming a Patreon, where you'll get all kinds of goodies. And I think we're kind of coming up to the end of the hour here, Kalani. Do you have anything else you'd like to say?
No, well, thank you. I do have one shout out to, and by the way, I am a water sign, Scorpio. My birthday was last Wednesday, and I want to shout out to Roseanne, whose birthday is on the 31st. Woo! On
Woo, on
Halloween. So, fellow
Halloween.
water sign. Yeah, and Roseanne
Mm-hmm.
enjoys a lot of the instruments, and she's very active in our Patreon side and my live streams that we do called Tuesday Muse Days. Tuesday Muse Days every Tuesday at 5 Pacific. So shout out to Roseanne and happy birthday on the 31st. And all of our water sign friends. I guess there's many of you out there. I don't know. I don't really follow the zodiac stuff too closely. I know Scorpio. I guess it must be Cancer. You know who you are. Pisces, I guess. But yeah, thanks, Joule. I really appreciate it. And thanks to Gabrielle. Shout out to Gabrielle for all the work she's done over the years. And it's no easy feat to do what she's done and pull all these amazing people. I know I've met most of I think all of the people from Feeltone, Hokema, Metal Sounds, and everybody's great. And I look forward to working with and seeing them and you possibly at the NAMM show or around the NAMM show or in LA. And yeah, everybody reach out to me, reach out to Joule, and go to the We Play Well Together Facebook, right? There's a whole Facebook situation over there. And
Yeah, so we play well
keep it playing.
together.com, where if you're not yet opted in, you can opt in. You get 10% off awesome instruments. So that can go far with our instruments. So come on over, check it out, check out the water collection.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
All right, Kalani, do you want to maybe play a few notes, play us out, and then we'll
I'll do the thing.
say goodbye?
Yeah, let's do this. Let's do the same vibe, and I'll start
Yeah,
the drums
I'm up
with
for
it
the
too,
same vibe.
so we can have a little. Here we go.